Well, the first thing is if you have surplus cash sitting inside your corp, good for you. If there's just cash sitting in any one spot, not working for us, then it is losing to the powers of inflation. This mistake is actually one of the big reasons or common reasons why physicians will say, I don't understand why I got such a big tax bill. Brace yourself or plan ahead to make sure that you don't get a big tax bill unexpectedly at the end of your corporate year. Hi, I'm Dr. Genhee So with ElevateMD, and today we're going to talk about what you as an incorporated physician can do with surplus cash sitting inside your corp. Well, the first thing is if you have surplus cash sitting inside your corp, good for you. I mean, there's tons of different options that we can do. I guess the first question that would come to mind is, number one, how much surplus cash is in there? And number two, hopefully it hasn't been sitting in there for too long. Because the first thing that we want to remember is if there's just cash sitting in any one spot, not working for us, then it is losing to the powers of inflation. So that cash just sitting there is just eroding away, probably at around the rate of 2% per year if we're not doing something more active with it. But if we do have that surplus cash and it hasn't been sitting in there for long, one of the things I would say not to do with it is just spend it freely and take it out. One important rule that I think we often forget, and maybe we're distracted because we're working too hard and we don't remember, is that just because we have surplus cash in the corporation doesn't mean that we can pull it out and spend it as we like. Or let's put it a different way. If we did pull it out and spend it, remember that any type of money that's inside the corporation probably still has tax owing on it. So one of the pervasive mistakes that I've seen doctors make is that they'll have maybe $300,000, $500,000 just sitting in cash in their corporation. And maybe they need to do a big reno. They want to buy something fancy that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they see the cash and they think, wow, this is a great source of where I can pay for this big bill. I'm just going to take that out. And maybe they decide to replace it later or they decide to work harder. And that may be great just for that one brief moment in time. But the problem is that as soon as you take that money out, there's a tax incurred on it. And you may not know that in the immediate setting, but you're going to find that out the hard way when it comes time for your corporate year end. This mistake is actually one of the big reasons or common reasons why physicians will say, I don't understand why I got such a big tax bill. Or they'll turn to their accountant and say, hey, why did I get such a big tax bill this time around? And why didn't you warn me about it? There's also all kinds of other things that you can do with that surplus cash, including investing inside your corporation. But what I would say before you actually decide to invest it, talk to somebody who has a really good understanding of future tax implications depending on where you place that investment. Because another important lesson I think that is crucial for us as incorporated physicians to understand is that different investments placed in the corporation have completely different tax implications. So of course, if we have this surplus cash, we want to make sure that we're putting it into an investment that has the least amount of tax associated with it. The other important thing to realize here is that there is certainly a ripple effect. So if you have a big amount of surplus cash, where you place it may have a ripple effect on the other investments that you have inside your corporation. So lots and lots to think about when it comes to surplus cash inside your corp. To summarize, if you do have surplus cash in your corp, hopefully it hasn't been sitting around for too long. And also remember, if you're going to take that surplus cash out of your corporation, there may be a big tax bill associated with it. So brace yourself or plan ahead to make sure that you don't get a big tax bill unexpectedly at the end of your corporate year. And the last thing is if you do want to invest those monies inside your corporation, then have a good conversation with an experienced financial advisor and planner who understands the tax implications of putting that surplus cash into different types of investments inside your corp. I'm Dr. Genhee So, founder of ElevateMD. If you want to learn better layered strategies or more about what you can effectively do with surplus cash inside your corporation, visit my website at drgenheeso.com. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll catch you in the next episode.